That's not Tiffany, that's Delilah. And then he's like, oh, they all look the same around here. Wow. It's Hippo Fruit. I'm back with another video. I haven't shaved. Don't mind me. I'm looking a little bit trashy, but that's okay. I recently quit my job, my fast food job that I was talking about in the other video, the customer poop video and the how to get hired 5 tips or whatever. So I'm going to be talking more unfiltered, and today's story time is going to be about one of the most annoying, rudest, vulgar customers that we ever had at the fast food establishment. I'm just gonna use the name from here on out because I'm not working there. What they're gonna do, fire me? The name is Charlie's Philly Steaks. It's a small brand, but there's a good amount of stores. I feel like when I applied, I didn't know what it was, but I fell in love real quick, so I suggest you go there. But this story is gonna be about the rudest customer that we ever had. He would always go there every single week, and it was so annoying just seeing his face in the morning and hearing his grouchy voice. Because when I tell you, he sounded like he smoked like 10 cigarette packs a day. And it was like, okay, you know those commercials? This is going to sound messed up, but you know the commercials where the lady's like, my tip is speak in the hole so your baby can hear you better. That's what he sounded like, and it was so... I just couldn't, because he would always be so rude with his snarky comments, and it was... Before I get deep into the video, let's hit that like, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do, check out the other videos, check out the Amazon one right here, please, I beg you. And second, let's start. Okay, I'm never going to use someone's real name in my video unless it's like a family member or like a best friend. So we're going to call this person Joe. He was one of the most infamous customers at my job. I never even knew his real name anyway, so even if I did say it, I still wouldn't know if it was his real name because he would call to deliver. Now get this. So they lived just so far away. Joe and his girlfriend or wife, whatever she was, I don't know. I think she was the girlfriend. So they lived so far away. But the girlfriend worked at PetSmart, which was right down the street from the mall where I worked at. So I was like, always like, she would always come to say hi. And then she started getting food because she would try the samples. I did samples a lot there if I didn't do cashier. So she would try the samples, but she would never buy anything. And it was like, okay, why are you getting like tens of thousands of samples? But one day she did come, and she came with Joe. And they bought one of the special sandwiches. It was like only, what's it called? Limited time only. It was at LTO. That's what they call it at Charlie's Philly Steaks, an LTO. You guys know what limited means, right? And you know what time means, right? That means it's not going to last forever. And she thought it was. She would get it every single time she would come. And then one day it wasn't there anymore. And she got PO'd. She got annoyed. And I was like, it said LTO on the board. Like, it said limited time only. And she's like, I didn't know what LTO meant. And then the husband or boyfriend, whatever, Joe, he was like, you guys can't make a compromise. And I was like, no, we can't. It's gone. Because the sandwich that they wanted had barbecue sauce. And barbecue sauce was only a special, which I don't really get. I feel like Charlie should always have barbecue sauce, but it was a special. It was a limited time only thing. I don't control that. The company does. So I was like, we don't have barbecue sauce anymore, sir. We can't make this how you want it anymore. It's gone. It was special. It's like, this is effing ridiculous. I'm never coming back. Okay, don't come back. I don't care. You only ordered once and you stole the sample. It's like 5,000 other times. But they did come back the next week, and then they started coming back week after week. Now they were getting some random sandwich. It was the chicken California. It had chicken, ranch, provolone cheese, mayo, lettuce, tomato, pickle, all that stuff. But they didn't get it the way normal people got it. No tomato, but I want them diced. I want them chopped. And I was like, you can't get them. What do you mean, no tomato? But then you want diced tomato? What? We didn't do diced tomato, so I would tell him, Joe, because I knew his name now. I was like, Joe, we don't do diced tomato. And he'd be like, this is everything. He would be going on the rant again, so I'd be like, you know what, diced tomato. So I would just write in the special note bar, because there's a section where it's like, if it's not a button on the screen, you can write a note. It rarely happens, but with him, it was an everyday thing, so I was used to it by now. And I'll be like, okay, I'll just type it in here. This is the last time I'm getting it for you, though. It never was the last time. We always did it. Pickles on the side. Well, nobody at my job ever got pickles except him. I don't know why, but everyone... So we have the script we have to say where it's like, mayo, lettuce, tomato, pickle today? And then they're like, oh, no, I don't want mayo, I don't want lettuce, blah, blah, but I'll have tomato and pickle. Stuff like that. And we would have to say it over and over to every customer. And whenever I would say it to him, he would be the only one that would say he wants pickle. Because he was the only one, like literally the only person that never said no to pickle. My boss stopped like getting it that much. When he would order the food to come back in to get restocked, he wouldn't order a lot of pickles. He would only order like, I think like, he ordered like 2 tubs, that's it. One day we did run out of pickles and he started catching an attitude about it. You guys are telling me you don't got pickles. And I was like, no, we don't, sir. I started calling now. He wouldn't show up anymore. He would just call, and the caller ID didn't say Joe. It would say something else. I think it was like Jim or something. Hi, Jim. This is Charlie's Philly Steaks. What can I... And he's like, it's Joe. You don't remember me. And I'm like, oh my god, your caller ID is different. And I would say it in the nicest voice. I'd be like, oh, your caller ID is different, sorry. Nice to know you don't care about regular customers. And I'm like, you just ran me by the same old stuff. The diced tomato we wouldn't do. The pickles we didn't have. The barbecue sauce that got sold out like forever ago. I would have to tell him the same thing over and over again until it finally clicked that we didn't have the stuff because it was a limited time only, or we just, like, we weren't allowed to sell it. We don't have diced tomatoes. I would have to be a pushover about it because my boss would be looking at me and he's like, customer service, even though he would not show any. That's another story though. He would never show any customer service, but he would always be the one to preach it, which I thought was kind of ironic. We don't got it, but I can give it to you this one time again. And he's like, that's what I thought. And then he hung up. Sorry, but that's rude. And he would always get a lemonade. I wanted to be like, oh, here's a lemonade on the house. Throw it in his face because he was so rude. He was so rude. Just the way he would, I don't know if it was his voice because it was all raspy or something and it sounded like more like aggressive than it should, but he was so rude. And so was his wife. She would always look me up and down. I was like, hey, what you gotta say about me? I swear that these two people were low-key racist because I was the only white person that worked at Charlie's for like, I think it's been like a year and a half, and I was the only white person that worked at Charlie's. Everyone else was either Spanish, Chinese, or whatever the heck is not white. Joe and his wife or girlfriend, whatever she was, they were white too. I started to notice how they would always treat me differently than they would treat the other people. Like when I would be on cashier and I took their orders, even though they were still rude and they gave me like a bad attitude, when they would arrive to pick up the delivery order, they wouldn't check the bags or anything. They would assume the order was right and they would just give me a tip. When someone else at the cashier, like my manager, she was Spanish. She was in the other video, the customer proof video. When she did the cashier, they would check all the bags, make sure the food was right, and they wouldn't give a tip. And I was like, I mean, it could not be about race, but we all felt like it was about race. Why is when the Spanish lady does it, like you don't give a tip, but when the white boy does it, you do. It was kind of weird. I didn't want their crusty dollar bills anyways. They were all wrinkly. I don't want to put that in the ATM machine. Nuh-uh. I can't say that they were indeed racist because besides that tip thing and checking the bags, they never really like said anything offensive. Wait, that's a lie. That's a lie. So we had a J1 student during the summer last summer, and if you don't know what a J1 student is, they're from a different country. Like ours were from China and Malaysia. I think they got money back home because how else are you gonna afford to come here and work all summer and like go on tours? Because they would go to Florida and Disneyland and Disney World. They went to more places than I ever have. I saw one of their Instagram, she was in Paris. J1 student, basically, you go from your country and then you go to the US and you work for the summer and you just get money and stuff. And I think you could put it on your college application once you get back to China or Malaysia. I don't really know how much that works. One of them, we'll call her, you know what, I'll just use her real name. She was my friend, Tiffany. Tiffany did the toppings, and the toppings is the mayo, lettuce, tomato, pickle. And that's the one that Joe would always have a hard time about because he would always be like, you guys aren't doing it right. I said diced tomato. So she would be doing that one. And he would always be looking over her shoulder when she was doing it that whole summer. It was so uncomfortable. And now I want this, I want that, I want that. Yeah, she knows. She speaks English. She does speak English. Just because she looks like she's from another country, she does speak English. One time he called and he was like, is that Chinese girl gonna be doing the toppings today? Okay, describe her as a Chinese girl one more time. Tiffany, and he's like, yeah, whatever her name is. I'm like, yeah, she is. She's gonna be doing it today. And what about it? And he's like, okay, well, just tell her to do it right. I didn't tell her because she always did it right. She knew her job. She worked better than I did. I was like, okay, will do, sir. I never did. I don't care. He shows up, and my boss, that's Chinese as well, she swapped places with Tiffany because Tiffany went on break. And this is gonna sound so messed up. I'll call my boss Delilah. So Delilah swapped places with Tiffany, right? And Delilah was doing the toppings now, and he comes to her and he's like, Tiffany, what are you doing? And she looked up, she's like, who's Tiffany? Because Tiffany was on break. And I'm like, that's not Tiffany, that's Delilah. And then he's like, oh, they all look the same around here. Wow. Okay. Good thing I remember that because that was racist. They all looked the same around here. They didn't look alike at all. Like this other guy that was a weird person. We'll talk about him later on. He would always confuse Tiffany for my boss, Delilah. So he would come to say hi to Tiffany and he'd be like, oh, Tiffany, I love you to Delilah. And Delilah got like 2 kids and a husband. I didn't know why people thought they looked alike. They really didn't. I mean, they were both Chinese and they were the same height. That's about it. One was like 10 years older than the other one. That's just another evidence of racism that I forgot about. Because there's no way you can mix those two up if you don't have a mindset. You know, it's just not possible. Sorry, but they didn't look anything alike except their height. There's no way. Sorry. I wanted to throw a lemonade in his face so many times, but I held back. There's this one time, right? He started acting like my best friend. Give me tips, like give me more tips than $1. Usually he just gave me a dollar bill and a grouchy smile, but now he was being like, yeah, so when do you go to school, blah, blah. Oh, well, that's fun. I watch the Red Sox. I was like, where's this energy coming from? Because this is not the type of person he was. He wouldn't talk to anyone. He would just be like, my food's not right. And that's it. Like, he wouldn't talk to anyone. Next night, my boss, Jake, that's not his real name again. I'm not using any of my coworkers' real names except Tiffany because she was my friend. He calls me into the back and he's like, yo, Philip, look at this review. I looked at the review, I saw that it was from Joe, but the name wasn't Joe, it was the gym one. I'm reading the review and it's like he just went to a 5-star restaurant. He was praising me and it was so weird. And I was like, okay, he must have been high or something tonight. Because he was kind of high as a kite, like sometimes, which may have attributed to like when he was happy-go-lucky. Maybe he just got some, but I don't know. He was high as a kite sometimes. So I was like, wow, he's acting like he went to a 5-star restaurant. Jake, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, I know, right? I'm reading this too. And I'm like, what the heck? That doesn't sound like Joe. It wasn't Joe. Apparently he has a twin brother. And I'm like, what? How could the twin brother be so nice? That must have been, now that I'm talking about this story, like right off the bat, that must have been Jim. That was probably Jim. Jim was the caller ID, and then Joe was the twin brother that was like annoying. So it was like Jim, he was the nice guy, and Joe was the devil on his shoulder. So Jim was the one that was giving me a lot of tips, and Joe was just giving me the like F you. But they both sounded like they smoked 10 packs of cigs, so I couldn't really tell. Here's some facts about Joe. He was racist. He was annoying, rude, incompetent. He would always accuse us of overcharging him or not charging him enough. That was another thing he did. I didn't mention that. I would say, okay, the total is $12.05. He'd be like, actually, it was $12.06 last week. Where's that penny going? The orphanage? Because Charlie's Philly Steaks has this Charlie's Kids where you put the money in the donation box. I don't know, like it's just in the system. It's automatic. I don't decide the prices. I don't know the tax. Maybe tax change. I don't know. Tax-free weekend, he shows up not expecting to see $12.06. He was expecting to see like $11.75 or something because tax-free weekend, you know? But that doesn't apply to Charlie's. This is fast food. We ain't in retail. You're not buying a TV from us. So many Joe stories, but it's hard to like tell them in one video because he was there and then he wasn't. Okay, our fast food restaurant, it was kind of like a bar. Have you ever seen the TV show Cheers? I don't know if this is gonna get copyrighted now, but have you ever seen the TV show Cheers where like the customers all come in and they sit down and talk to the employees the entire episode? That's what it basically was. Like, I felt like I was on an episode of Cheers every day because the same regular customers would come in and like tell me their story, or they would just like give me a hard time. Either one. Some were nice, some were not so nice. He's either there one day or he isn't. So he's in random stories that I'm probably gonna tell in the future where it's like, you guys remember Joe? Yeah, he was here. I'm gonna try to remember all these story time names so that I can assign the characters like the same name because there were so many customers that would come in and out. It's like they're in more stories than one. So you'll see him again. So yeah, that was my little like rant about Joe. One of the worst customers I ever had. I could have made this into a shorter video, but did I want to? No, because you guys had to hear everything that was going on with him because he had a lot going on in life. And I also found out, okay, this is messed up. This is his personal business, but like, how are you gonna figure out who this is? We're gonna call my manager, Ava. And Ava told me this story. I don't know if it's true because sometimes I felt like, I mean, I love her. She's my friend too. But I don't know if it's really true, but sometimes she would tell me stuff about customers that she figured out because she used to be the queen of Wendy's. She would always be working at Wendy's. She had like every fast food job you could think of. She was there. Like, you showed up at McDonald's, she was there. You went to Chick-fil-A, she was there. She was getting money, and I appreciated that. I had so much respect. I still do have respect for Ava. I have so much respect for Ava because literally she did every job in the book. But she told me this one thing that kind of made me like, are you sure you're telling the truth? But maybe she was. I don't know. But she said it was either like Joe beat his girlfriend, so she left him because eventually Joe stopped coming in for a while. And I was like, oh, I wonder where he is. I wasn't praying that he would come back, but like I wanted to know what happened. So me and Ava were talking about it one night and she's like, oh, really? Joe? Yeah. When I worked at Wendy's a few years ago, because she worked at Wendy's for 7 years, she's like, when I worked at Wendy's a few years ago, he actually gave the wife a black eye, and she called the cops on him inside of Wendy's. So apparently they're causing chaos at Wendy's too. They must do Wendy's and Charlie's the same night or something. Maybe they switch off, but I don't know. They're causing chaos everywhere. Joe is always doing something. It's like, oh really? Joe's a wife beater now because he would wear that shirt. You know, okay, you know that wife beater shirt where it's like, it's just a white shirt. He would be wearing this. And it was just that. It was just this in shorts. And I was like, okay, don't trust ya. If you guys like the video, please give a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Amazon video right here. And check out my other videos right here and right here. Or right here. Where's this thumb pointing? I don't know. My fingers are like crooked. But anyways, have a nice day. Thank you guys for watching. And yeah, see you Thursday.